Your Clean Pocket crew is back for another mock draft. It's me, it's Jay Gruden, but today we're throwing trades into the mix. We're going to go through the entire draft, tell you who we think is getting drafted at which spot. Let's dive into this thing. Me and Jay are actually auditioning for a general manager, head coach duo move right now. So if anyone's out there...
I'm the GM. You're the head coach.
No. I'm not dealing with these players. I'm drafting them. I'm handing them over to you and say you figure it out from there.
Well, that's what most GMs do. Then they blame the coach when they don't work out.
It's easier that way, right? Let's start it off. Tennessee Titans. Is there anything that we can even say on this one, or is this one pretty much buttoned up?
I think it's pretty much buttoned up. You know, Will Levis had his opportunity to shine, and I hate the fact that he's got to go to the backup role, and he'll try another team in the future, and I don't think his career is over, but I think it's time for Tennessee to move on. Everybody's talking about this Callahan kid as a quarterback whisperer. He had Joe Burrow at Cincinnati. Just be careful a little bit.
Easy to be a whisperer.
Easy, everybody. But they got to get help at the quarterback spot. They need a lot of help elsewhere, but Cam Ward will provide them with some excitement at Tennessee. They have a pretty decent team. They address their offensive line. They got some good receivers, obviously. And there's a chance for him to succeed right away, but I don't expect him to have a year like C.J. Stroud or Jaden Daniels as a rookie. I think he'll struggle a little bit, and I think the Titans will be muddling around 500 at best. But Cam Ward is the pick for the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, I agree. It's Cam Ward at 1. He's talking about all the receiver. He's playing Call of Duty. You know when he's there's live clips of him playing Call of Duty, and he's like, my favorite receivers in the NFL, Calvin Ridley and Traylon Burks is the backup. He put him in his top 4 ahead of names like A.J. Brown and things like that. So it's written in stone. This is where things start to get interesting, Jay. 2 Cleveland Browns. Everyone's saying Travis Hunter. He's the best player available. Everyone hates the word generational, but I will use the term generational for Travis Hunter. He is the first of his kind that is saying, I want to play 150 snaps in a football game, and I can do it, and I should be drafted to play defensive back and receiver. The question I have, though, is the Browns don't have a quarterback. They have, no offense to Joe Flacco. We love Joe Flacco, but is Joe Flacco your answer at quarterback for this team?
Kenny Pickett. I mean, which one?
Yeah.
I don't understand. I don't understand it. No, he can't be the answer. There has to be something else going on. I don't know if it's a backdoor Kirk Cousins deal coming up pretty soon. Maybe Aaron Rodgers sneaking through the windows at night in Cleveland. Something's got to happen in Cleveland because I can't imagine Joe Flacco going. I know he took him to the playoffs after Deshaun Watson got hurt. I get all that, but we got to get better than Joe Flacco. But if not, you go with Joe Flacco as a starter, Kenny Pickett. They can have their little duel in training camp. Maybe draft a guy later in the second or third or fourth round, whatever it might be, to come in and be a young up-and-comer to learn from Joe Flacco. Not the end of the world, but to get a generational type talent, which a lot of people are saying, and Travis Hunter is not a bad thing. This guy can help out the receiver room with Jerry Jeudy and Cedric Tillman. Obviously, paired up with Denzel Ward would be a hell of a defensive back combination. Got to make sure he gets in the weight room and gets a little bigger. He got that thin frame. Playing 100 snaps or so could take its toll, but this guy's the pick.
Okay. I mean, I'm with you. I'm Travis Hunter. I think Travis Hunter is the surefire pick at 2. We're on to the New York Giants. In our last mock draft, you had the Giants going Shedeur Sanders. Not that you think he's the third best player in this draft. You just think that Joe Shane and Brian Daboll have the pressure on them. They got to draft a quarterback. But let me propose something to you. This is what I think the Giants should do. I think they should trade back. Now, I'm going to give you an offer, and you can accept it or you can deny it, and then we'll either move the draft board around or we won't. I'm looking at this board here, and I'm looking at the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons haven't had someone go over 6 sacks in like 5 years. I'm looking at the Falcons, and I'm saying, hey, we got Michael Penix Jr. We think we have the answer at quarterback. He showed us enough down the stretch. And every time a team thinks they have a young quarterback, what do? They surround them with defensive talent. They're like, hey, Michael Penix Jr. is going to make us look good. You have Bijan, you have Drake London, you have Kyle Pitts, you have these guys. You need an answer on defense. So I'm proposing a trade. The Atlanta Falcons move up from 15. They move up to 3 with the New York Giants. So I had them flopping first-round picks, and then I'm going to have the Giants giving a 4th rounder this year. They get a 2nd rounder from the Atlanta Falcons, which ends up being pick 46. And then they get a 1st and 3rd round pick next year. The New York Giants are a few moves away from being competitive in the NFC East. And I know this is a little counterintuitive because you're like, Joe Shane and Brian Daboll need to win this year. This provides more draft capital to the New York Giants, allows them to move back to 15 where they're not forced into taking someone at 3. I think that's the move. Do you accept this trade or not if you're the New York Giants, Jay?
I accept it. We already got Thibodeau. We got Brian Burns. These are two edge guys that really aren't very good against the run. We don't need to add another edge guy that plays the pass very good, is not really good against the run. I mean, that's what was our Achilles heel last year, was stopping the run pretty much. In order to get our pass rushers going, we got to stop the run. So we need more picks. I will trade that. I will take more picks. I expect if I want to address the quarterback position, somebody to come in and learn from Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, that I can get one in the second or third round that I really like, maybe even later in the first, like you mentioned. So there's a lot of different options I have with the New York Giants. I need more picks. I need more bodies. We have a good core fundamental group of football players. We got to add some more. I need more picks. I'll take the trade. Justin, Falcons, you can have Abdul Carter.
And that's what they do. They take Abdul Carter. You need someone that can rush the quarterback, right? You lose Grady Jarrett. He's out there in Chicago. They bring in Abdul Carter, and we are on the move.
They picked up Leonard Floyd, just so you know.
All right, Leonard Floyd, Abdul Carter. These are the guys that are making their moves. All right, we're now on to pick 4. The New England Patriots are on the clock. You had the best quarterbacks gone. The generational talent in Travis Hunter is gone. The next best player, Abdul Carter, is gone. It starts to get interesting at 4. We can go a lot of different directions. Jay, 4. Who do you like?
Well, first of all, the Patriots did a pretty good job addressing their team in free agency. They got 7 or 8 starters. They got Stephon Diggs. They got Bradbury, Morgan Moses, Milton Williams, Harold Landry, Robert Spillane, Carlton Davis. They did a pretty good job in free agency drafting or addressing their position needs. Everybody has them take a Will Campbell, who started a ton of football at LSU. He's probably the best, most natural left tackle in the draft, the most productive, most time, most film you have available is Will Campbell. I like Will Campbell here. There's a running back named Ashton Genty, might be a fit with Stevenson, but I think Will Campbell is the most obvious play here to help Drake May and protect his blind side. Will Campbell, LSU, to me, is a no-brainer for New England.
Yeah, I said I think Will Campbell's the offensive tackle 1. I think if they could move out of this spot, they would, because I don't see a massive difference between Will Campbell and tackles 1B, 1C. There isn't a Joe Alt in this class. I mentioned that. I've only been watching the college player tape for a few years. And at the end of the day, if Will Campbell doesn't end up being your left tackle for the future, he could always be your left guard. He could always be a 10-year player at left guard. I know you don't want to go in and say, we're taking a guard 4, but Will Campbell can play football, play in the SEC, all the things you want. He's 4 to the New England Patriots, and I like them at this point. You have a good offensive line. They went and got Garrett Bradbury as well, a good center out there. You got Cole Strange, probably put him at left guard. So, yeah, they got some pieces there. All right, moving on to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and this is a hot topic that we need to talk about. Everybody is saying the Jaguars are going Mason Graham, Michigan. You can't miss them. Jay, what say you?
Well, Mason Graham is a very nuisance player. He makes a lot of plays. I mean, he had 7 or 8 tackles against Ohio State, and that's tough for him. I mean, Ohio State has 2 really good backs in Henderson and Judkins, and he did a really good job stopping those guys and that powerful offensive line for the number 1 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes. He's had a lot of production in his career, not a lot of sack production, but a lot of effort plays, a lot of tackles for loss, instinctive, tough, physical player that you love to have on your team and you want to go to war with, right, Justin?
Do you think he's the pick at 5, though? That's my question. I think 5. I think like in my head, I'm like, oh, Ndamukong Suh. I think you better be Aaron Donald. Like, you better just be a game wrecker that I'm thinking about if I'm slotting you in there at the 5th overall pick.
Would you rather hand the ball to Tank Bigsby or ETM or Ashton Genty? Would you rather throw a tight end screen to...
This is what I'm talking about. To say that name.
Or Tyler Warren. That's what I'm saying. So they have 2 humongous upgrades available to them at the running back and the tight end position that will score points for them. Now we're hoping to stop a gain of 5 rushing play between the tackles to a gain of 2. That's what you're going to get with Mason Graham. Or you can get a guy that scores 26 touchdowns for you at the running back position, or a guy that has the impact a tight end can have, like a Rob Gronkowski or a Travis Kelce or Brock Bowers last year.
I'm with you. I really think it's Warren. I think it's Warren, not because Mason Graham's not a great player. I just think at 5, it's a little high of a price to pay for Mason Graham. I look at other guys like Walter Nolan in there. I look later in the draft. I think there's some depth at the D-line position. You have Brian Thomas Jr. You have Gabe Davis. People are forgetting about Gabe Davis. They paid him a bunch of money to go down there as well. And then you throw in Tyler Warren. I love it. I absolutely love it. He can run the QB sneak. You don't have to get, Lawrence under there and running the QB sneak. All right, moving on. We're at the Vegas Raiders. I had them taking Ashton Genty. We thought about taking him at 5. The Raiders just seem like such a great fit for Ashton Jeanty, but you also have guys like Matthew Golden out there. Ted McMillan is some names that's falling down draft boards. People were mentioning him in the top 10. Is there anyone that can unseat Jeanty at 6 for the Raiders?
Yeah, they could use an offensive lineman, right? I mean, the Raiders always need offensive linemen. They've been struggling. Everybody's just putting Jeanty here because of the Marshawn Lynch, the correlation, right? His success was based on a hell of a strong running game and the play action passes that were designed off of that running game. So I think Ashton makes the most sense. I'm trying to make sense of, do you take a right tackle instead of Ashton Jeanty?
That's the only other name that I'm thinking of is Armand Membu.
That's
the
who I have
only
as a
other
right
name.
tackle. That would be a significant upgrade. That would help them. But Jesus Christ. They did sign Raheem Mostert from Miami Dolphins, so they have him, and they got McCormick, the running back. But I think you got to go Ashton Jeanty, once-in-a-lifetime type guy, possibly. The issue is there aren't many good right tackles that can really start day one for you like Membu can. And you might be able to find another running back in the second round that's pretty damn productive.
All right, well then hold on now. Hold the phone. Can I sell you on Armand Membu at 5 or 6 then?
You can sell me.
He's going 7. He's going 7
to the Jets for sure. That would break the Jets' hearts, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Maybe. Then they can get Jeanty. And they can
Let's
go
do this. Let's do this. Let's go Armand Membu at 6 to the Raiders. You got Geno. Let's get the O-line situated. You got to revamp the offensive line. They love to run the ball. It's a very deep running back class. I think you get a starting running back at 38 or whatever pick they have in the second round. You could get Travion Henderson. You can't get an Armand Membu in the second round.
If Jeanty drops another pick, that's just one more team that's going to take a running back who is going to take maybe another running, so that it just drops. So you're going to be able to get another running back in the second round easy. But to the skill set of Ashton Jeanty, I don't know. Is the difference between Membu and the second round right tackle that significant as is Ashton Jeanty to the second round running back you're going to get? Membu in a second round right tackle probably is closer to be a more comparative than Ashton Jeanty to Judkins or another running back in the second round.
Because I'm looking at the offensive tackles and I'm like, all right, Membu is a surefire right tackle. I liked Connerly. I liked Ursery from Minnesota. Can you get him? I don't think Ursery's there in the second round. I don't think he's there.
I think you got to take Jeanty here. You got to take him. And he'll go with Mostert. That'll be a good 1-2 punch. And Mostert needs a little time to recover from his fumbling issues at the end of last year at Miami. So you got to go Jeanty there. Sorry.
Hey, and John Spytek's 10-year-old son's going to be thrilled that you just did this. He wants Jeanty. He said, Dad, you don't draft Jeanty, which then makes our 7th pick easy, right? We're not even talking about our 7th overall pick. Or could you see Colston Loveland going as high as 7?
No.
So it's Armand Membu. Moving on. Jets take Armand Membu. Plug him in at right tackle. They let Morgan Moses walk in free agency. They get Armand Membu. Breece Hall's happy. There's no running back by committee.
And don't forget, Mason Graham's still there. We didn't take Mason Graham at 5, too, right?
You're right. Wow.
So that changes everything for a lot of these teams. So a lot of these teams had Mason Graham assuming he was going to be gone. Now all of a sudden he's on the board right now. Like, holy hell, what are we going to do now?
You have Quinnen Williams. You have Derek Nandi, who you just drafted. There's not a lot of depth behind those players. You have Will McDonald, Jermaine Johnson. Maybe there's a D tackle in this situation. No, I'm going Armand Membu. You got to choose Jeanty. I'm going Armand Membu.
Yeah, you got to do Membu.
I'm going Membu.
Now Carolina's high-fiving in the damn meeting room right now because Mason Graham just fell.
Look, no one talks about big old Derek Brown down there in Carolina with the Panthers. And then their nose tackles, Bobby Brown III. They also got Tershawn Wharton, and they have Ashawn Robinson. I don't think the Panthers are really a Mason Graham.
No, they got Wharton. I love Wharton from Kansas City. That's a good pickup. That's going to help their run defense for sure. They need edge players. They could use another wide receiver.
Who's your favorite edge rusher in this draft, aside from Abdul Carter?
It's hard for me because you have Shamur Stewart, who's got the most athletic upside, but the least amount of production. You got Mike Green, who's got the most.
Oh, I love Mike Green.
I like Mike Green's.
He's got that dog
production.
in him.
Yeah. There's the issue with the pass rush. I think there's 6 or 7. Once the first one goes, I think it's other than Abdul Carter. I think they're going to start to fall a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see.
Okay, let me just throw this name out there. I know he played a lot off the ball, but they're saying he's going to transition to an edge rusher, kind of be that floater on third down. Some people are saying they liked Jalen Walker from Georgia as that floater linebacker. He can play in nickel. He's very dynamic as the next best guy after Abdul Carter.
I think Jalen Walker would be a perfect pick for Carolina because he can help on the inside as far as a bubble, but he can be an edge player. He's versatile in what he can do. And I think nowadays with these nickel and dime sub packages, this guy is a chess piece. You can use him a lot of different ways. And he was used a lot of ways at Georgia. He was off the ball. He's in the slot. So he's obviously smart enough to do that. He's athletic. He can come off the edge. He can rush the A and B gaps. I think that's a great pick right here. And I would probably take him over Mason Graham because of his versatility and his edge rush presence.
So, okay, we agree. Jalen Walker, 8 to the Carolina Panthers. Now we're on to the New Orleans Saints. Now it's like, hey, Shedeur Sanders is there. Jackson Dart's there. But Mason Graham's still on the board. Cam Jordan's 35, 36 years old. I feel like this is a Mason Graham spot, even though you have a quarterback-needy team. I think you go Mason Graham here.
Didn't we see him at a function the other day working on his podcast?
He's working on the podcasting.
Yeah. He's working on that next step after football. He's still a great player, don't get me wrong, but it'd be nice to have a guy like Mason Graham walking in the building. However, who's going to say down, set, hike? Their car's out. Spencer Rattler played at times okay last year, but is he really the answer? Do you want to go number 9 with Shedeur Sanders right here? Is Jackson Dart? Did Kellen Moore fall in love with Jackson Dart over Shedeur Sanders? I mean, I think they have to take a quarterback here, a trigger man.
All right, hold on. Let me just, I was reading up about this, and I don't think that Kellen Moore was at Shedeur's pro day. Does that mean anything to you? If you're the head coach and you're not at Shedeur's pro day, does that mean like, hey, we're showing our cards. We're not taking Shedeur Sanders?
I think it means a little bit. I mean, he is going to be calling plays and coaching the quarterbacks personally. I would like to think that he would go to his pro day unless he had something more important to do.
Maybe it was Jackson Dart's pro day.
Maybe he was at Mason Graham's pro day. I don't know. Checking out his arm length, right? Who knows?
They haven't taken a quarterback in the first round since 1971. That's Archie Manning. That went, first round for them in 1971.
I actually would have them, just based on what I see, I would have them taking Jackson Dart at 9 ahead of Shedeur anyway. So I would say Jackson Dart in this spot. Mason Graham would be another good pick.
All right, well, you let me get Armin Membu, and I kind of talked us into Jalen Walker. So I'm letting you handle the Saints pick.
I'm going to take Jackson Dart here.
Okay. Oh, my. Michigan's mad at us right now. Will Johnson's still sitting on the board, too, and some teams are needy at that position. All right. Now you're the Chicago Bears. Okay. Jackson Dart, big wow, aha moment. He jumps up and he jumps Shedeur. And now the Chicago Bears, they've addressed the offensive line. I don't think they're going to go there. They could go left tackle, and I know they would need it. I had them taking Omari and Hampton. I lost a little sleep over that one because I'm like, a running back at 10, Justin. Did you really make that pick? And I look at their defensive line, the Chicago Bears, the monsters of the Midway. Mason Graham sitting there right now. Is there any way Mason Graham makes it past 10 to the Chicago Bears? I know they got Grady Jarrett. They drafted Gervon Dexter Sr.
Grady's getting up there, though, Justin. He is getting up there. To have a chance to have another guy that can stop the run like Mason Graham can, I think they'd have to take him. I don't think there's any opportunity for them to pass. I was going to say maybe one of the top corners out there. Their favorite corner in this draft is where they would go to try to take Tyreek Stevenson's spot, who blew that Washington Commander game. Let's get him the hell. Let's get that other corner. Let's get Will Johnson, the son of a gunner.
They need an edge rusher. And that's the thing. I really feel bad, Mason. We're sorry, Mason. We want to take you. We do. We've been trying to talk ourselves into taking you. No, we got to go. We got to go Mason Graham here. You just take best player available, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think when you dominate both line of scrimmages, I think a lot of people will look at the Philadelphia Eagles and say, how did they do it? They dominated the offensive front and they dominated the defensive line. That's how they did it. Put pressure on the quarterback, stopped the run with their defensive line, and ran the football and protected their quarterback with their offensive line. And this is a piece that can really help Grady Jarrett in that substitutional, rotational system up front, which you got to have with your defensive line. But now you have two versatile big men that can go a lot of different ways, rush the passer, stop the run. If Mason Graham falls this far, Chicago's going to take him. They're going to be high-fiving.
I think New Orleans really has to think hard about Mason Graham. They could use him even more, but you're right. The quarterback is there. Mason Graham falls to 10 in our mock draft. If you guys like what you're hearing, you're liking the breakdown, make sure you're following, you're subscribing, you're liking, leave a comment. Where do you think Mason Graham goes? Does he fall out of the top 10? Would you have taken him 9 with the Saints? Let us know in the comments. And now we're moving on. Now we're moving on to the San Francisco 49ers. Kyle Shanahan, they let a ton of talent walk out the door this year. Him and John Lynch have to get this right, bracing for contact, which is the Brock Purdy contract that's upcoming. They were 6-11 last year, 4th in the NFC West. They need to make some moves. They have some needs. I'm going to throw some needs out here. They let Tre'Davious Ward walk. They need edge. They need offensive line help.
Everybody talking about a left tackle here to take Trent Williams' spot because he's 37 years old. I don't like to draft left tackles when I already have the best left tackle in the game on my roster. So I'm going to say no for tackle, although that is a very big possibility. They lost a lot of guys. They lost Hargraves, Malik Collins, Hufanga. They lost Greenlaw. They lost Debo. They lost a lot of good players. I think they got to go corner here. I think they're going to take the top corner in the draft. And who do you think that is, Justin? Do you think it's Will Johnson?
I'm going Jahdae Barron.
Jahdae Barron from Texas.
What's making me nervous about Will Johnson? He didn't run his 40 at his private pro days, had hamstring, he's had turf toe. Colt sold me on Jahdae Barron. He detaches the ball from the receiver, and that is something in San Francisco. They like to get after it up front. I think Jahdae Barron's a perfect fit to go out to San Francisco and join in on that defense.
I've got no problem with either one of them. I think the medical's going to be huge for Will Johnson, how he feels, all that stuff. And you're right. It's unfortunate these guys aren't running because it's very important. If Mike cornerback runs 4.58, I'm not going to take him at number 12, right?
Exactly.
I might take him a little bit later, second or third round, but I got to be able to run. We got to cover Devontae Adams twice. We got to cover Puka Nacua. We got to cover all these players that we're playing. Might have to play Tyreek Hill, for God's sakes. Who knows? There's only so much cover two we can play. We're going to have to play man-to-man at some point. You got to be able to run. But so I'm with you on Barron. I'll take the safe pick with Barron. He's arguably 1, 2, 3 top cornerback, so I'll take Barron.
All right, so we agree. Barron goes 1. And now we're moving on to America's team. America's team, the Dallas Cowboys, 7-10 last year. Dak injuries. They had injuries all over the place. Arguing about Micah. Not as many headlines this year. Colt had them taking a left tackle, which I didn't want to jump on him at the time, but there's just no way in hell the Dallas Cowboys, after taking Tyler Guyton.
0.00 chance. Remember Animal House?
Yes.
Your GPA is 0.0. Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
No shot.
There's no way they're taking a left tackle.
And then I'm looking at your defense. You got Micah. He's going through contract negotiations. They drafted Marshawn Nealon. They got Dante Fowler. There's just one spot where I look at this team and I'm like, you have the running back position and you have the receiver position. And I think it has to be one of the two.
I disagree. I have the position for you, but you can go ahead. I don't think they can take a wide receiver. They need a receiver. I get it. They can't take a receiver here. They can't give up 500 yards of offense every time they play Philadelphia. They got to get somebody on defense here.
Okay, well, then I know where you might be looking there, because there is one weakness on this defense, and it is their interior defensive line.
Definitely, but I'm not going there either. This is going to be shock some people.
This is where I was thinking Omari and Hampton. And I know I hate myself for taking him at 10. Omari and Hampton seems good here, but I want you to sell me on who you're selling me on.
I'm taking Jahad Campbell. I need a big physical linebacker in here, all right? Overshawn's hurt. He's coming off an injury. We have lost that sense of middle linebacker play at Dallas that we have to regain. When they had Lee from Penn State, remember, he's all over the place. And Smith from Notre Dame, they were really good on defensive linebacker. They haven't had that. They need a linebacker here, call the defense, run down people. He's a good pass rusher. He gets his hands on a lot of tip balls and things of that nature. And I think his upside is through the roof. I think this is a natural pick for them to toughen up the interior part of their defense, which they desperately need. I can't stand watching them. So get Jahad Campbell. I think it's a good pick.
I like that. You get a linebacker from Alabama. I've had to go against those guys my entire career. And when they're running downhill, those dudes are coming with a little thump. He's 6'3", 235 pounds. Jahad Campbell, you are a Dallas Cowboy.
They got the edge spread. They got Fowler and they got Micah Parsons on the edge right now, right? So we're okay there. They got that Smith guy they drafted from Michigan.
They need him to step up.
Yeah, he ain't stepping up. He's just an average guy. They're hoping Mason Graham would fall, so they have two Michigan run stoppers in there.
Well, Mozzie, you're kind of to blame for why Mason Graham dropped to the 10, Mozzie. You didn't show out for Michigan, so we dropped you down. Jahad Campbell, Dallas Cowboy fans are freaking out. They wanted running back. They wanted Matthew Golden from Texas. They wanted maybe even Ted McMillan to pair with CeeDee Lamb. You get Jahad Campbell in the clean pocket latest mock draft. All right, moving on to the Miami Dolphins. We're going Miami Dolphins. Teron Armstead just retired. They need a left tackle. And the name I'm going to throw out there at left tackle is going to surprise a lot of people. Me and AQ argued about this. I think the best, most ready tackle went one, Will Campbell. I think Armin Membu, right tackle, perfect fit for the Jets. My next best tackle, there's a lot on the board. I like Josh Simmons from Ohio State. If Josh Simmons was healthy all year long, I actually think Josh Simmons is the first offensive tackle off the board. He's got the twitch. He's got the athleticism. I get Kelvin Banks here from Texas. If Colt was here, he would go ape shit on me. But I think Josh Simmons, coming off an ACL, people would say that it was a death sentence before. I think he's going to come back healthy, and I think he is the perfect fit for a scheme like the Miami Dolphins. Jay, if you could talk me out of Josh Simmons here, I'll concede, but I just don't see another world in which Miami doesn't go offensive line.
Well, there's trade talks with a couple of very key players for this team, and Tyreek Hill and Jalen Ramsey, right? That could factor into the draft day. Maybe they trade up and give Tyreek Hill to Dallas and switch picks or something like that. Wouldn't that be kind of cool? Then Dallas could still get Jahad Campbell a little bit later. But yeah, I think they got to get a left tackle. I don't think Patrick Paul's the answer. I think left tackle is a safe pick, but this is Mike McDaniel is starting to float around on this little thing they call the hot seat. It's getting a little warmer. People are starting to scurry out of Miami land. They're tired of looking at your pants pulled up over your kneecaps and your cool shoes. All right. They want to see some victories.
Wins.
They want to see some wins. So if Tyreek Hill's out of there, you have a chance to get Ted McMillan, the number one receiver as well. Right. But I still think you're right. I think they got to go left tackle here.
Look, if we would have put that trade in, you could have sold me on that one all day long. If Tyreek goes and gets traded, you could sell me on Ted McMillan, because I never loved in Miami where it was Waddle and it was Tyreek Hill, and I feel like they've both filled a very similar role. And I'm always like, if you put Ted McMillan with a Jalen Waddle, I felt better about that. But I'm also crazy. So Josh Simmons is the third offensive tackle off the board. Kelvin Banks, Texas, calm down. He's going to get drafted. I just think Josh Simmons fits in that scheme so well. He moves great. Get him out in space. I think he's the best. He could have been the best offensive lineman in this draft class. Moving on to the Colts, I think this one's a no-brainer as well. If you can convince me otherwise, I'll agree with you. Your tight end's Drew Ogletree. No offense to Drew. Mo Alley Cox.
You going Colston Loveland here? Is that who you're going with?
I think it's Colston Loveland.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think Tyler Warren's going to fall here. So if Jacksonville takes Mason Graham, like a lot of people think, Tyler Warren will probably be the pick in this spot, which I could see happening. But I think you're right. People just don't understand the importance of a good tight end. I mean, it's so much easier to throw to a tight end on a little option route between the numbers, a basic cross. They're 6'5", great hands, great targets, easy to find, the down flats, the run after the catch. They got to have a good tight end to help them out. They got enough decent receivers. I mean, they're okay at wide with Pearson, Downs, and Pittman. I mean, so let's get a tight end and help him out.
He suffered a bit with the team in Michigan this year. I think if they would have had J.J. McCarthy back, I think you would have saw Colston Loveland sneaking into the top 10. I mean, if you're the Jets, you could have looked at Colston Loveland there. So I think here at 14, the Colts fans are happy. If they get Tyler Warren or Colston Loveland, they're ecstatic. We have a real decision to make now. So 14, Colts go Colston Loveland. 15 now is the New York Giants. Remember, we traded earlier in the day. Abdul Carter, the Falcons moved up, got him at 3. Now the Giants are sitting here at 15. New York Giants have a few needs, right?
They got safety Javon Holland. They needed to upgrade their secondary in a worse way, and they got they got the kid from the Saints, Debo, and they got the Holland. So they're okay there. They still could use some help. Deontay Banks has got to get better, by the way.
No pressure on Deontay Banks now. He's going to DB2, right? You're cornerback 2. I'm not putting you up against CD every week or AJ Brown, so it should be a little bit of a, I don't want to say easier because it's not easier, but not as much pressure on him this year.
So what was the reason for their lack of run-stopping ability in Giantland, despite having Dexter Lawrence? And they need another defensive lineman, don't they?
Oh, I love, if you go with this name, I love this name here. There's a defensive line name that I think, honestly, probably is a top 10 talent, but has some
I'm talking about Nolan from Ole Miss.
That's exactly who I'm talking about. I think he's the best D tackle in the class. No offense to Mason Graham. I think Walter Nolan, talent-wise, has the highest ceiling of any interior D lineman in this draft.
Just go offensive lineman. Now let's go with the most talented defensive lineman who can make some plays. Put him next to Dexter Lawrence.
Oh, my God.
Then you got Brian Burns screaming off the edge. I mean, what the hell? And Thibodeau, get your head out of your ass. You could come off the other edge. and we have a pretty good sub package.
Everyone beats up on Thibodeau. I mean, he was a highly rated drafted player. I think he's going to continue to have a good season this year. He had 11 and a half sacks 2 years ago. There's no reason he can't do it again. Walter Nolan, you're coming to New York. Now, I mean, Philadelphia probably still has the best D-line in football, but now the New York Giants, I think Dexter Lawrence is the most dominant interior D lineman in the NFL. Him and Jalen Carter, they're right there. But now you add in Walter Nolan. I just don't want to see Walter Nolan go to Philadelphia. I do not want to see him slip to Philadelphia at 32. So please, Giants, for the love of God, take him at 15. And now you have a scary, scary 3-tech to add with Dexter Lawrence. There was no thought of Shador there.
No.
Okay.
There was some discussion. There was a guy with his hand up in the corner. Hey, what about Shador Sanders? Shut up, Billy. We're thinking Nolan.
Hey, look, and all those picks we just got, we have from the right now. I mean, you're looking at next year, but now all of a sudden you have the Atlanta's 46 in this draft, first and third next year. We're going to throw some darts to the dartboard on the quarterback train here at some point, but not at 15. Now we move on to the Arizona Cardinals at 16. They got Kyler Murray. They took Marvin Harrison Jr. last year. You got a stud left tackle in Paris Johnson Jr. They went out and re-signed Calais Campbell. They signed Dalvin Tomlinson, Josh Sweat to a $80 million contract. I know where the Cardinals need to go, and I actually know the perfect pick for the Arizona Cardinals. So I'll let you see if there's a way you can convince me otherwise.
Well, he signed Josh Sweat, right, to a pretty good contract. So they got him in the building. They got Calais Campbell. They got Tomlinson to stop the run on the inside. They could use another edge guy. They could use a corner. Sean Murphy Bunting is one corner, and the other corner is I don't know who it is. I forgot his name. I think it's Max Melton or something like that, right?
Yeah, he was. And then you have Garrett Williams. I actually like what they have on defense right now. I like the Cardinals' defense. You got Budda Baker, who unsung hero in this league. I mean, that dude is an absolute maniac.
Marvin Harrison Jr. is a good player. Jury's still kind of out for the dominance we thought he was going to have across the league, right? He didn't quite take the league by storm like we thought. He did good. He did good. Then you have Zay Jones. Michael Wilson's a good, solid player. I know Kyler loves him. I'd like to get the top receiver in this draft right here.
Oh.
That's one option.
That's Matthew Golden to you, or is that Ted McMillan staying home in Arizona?
To me, I'd rather have Matthew Golden. I want a guy that I know can run. This guy ran at the combine. Marvin Harrison Jr. did not. This guy ran a 4.29, documented on tape, 4.29. I'd rather have Golden to go along with a bigger receiver. You know, some people argue and say that Millen's a better player, but I want the guy that can run and make plays after the catch. Played at Texas, had some really good football games, a great career. So Golden, to me, is the guy I would take with a bigger receiver that I already have in Marvin Harrison. I don't want 2 6'5" jump ball guys, you know. I need a guy that can run.
Let me make my case, and then we can decide who we're going to go with. I'm going Gray Zabel from North Dakota State. He was a guy that was offered 6 figures to leave North Dakota, wanted to play with his brother. He's played all over the field. He's played left tackle. He's played right tackle. He's played left guard. He's played right guard. You could move this kid at center.
Where did he play college at?
North Dakota State.
So you can play all 5 positions when you play there, Justin.
Now, when I'm looking at a small school guy, the fact that he played left tackle shows me that he can play and be very versatile when he gets to the league. The Cardinals have some concerns on the offensive line aside from Paris Johnson Jr. and Haji Froholt, who's the starting center. You could plug him in at left guard if you wanted to. You could plug him in at right guard. You could plug him in at right tackle. Jonah Williams had some injury concerns. They have a backup in Kelvin Beachum, who I think can definitely step in there and play. I'm just saying, if you're going to have Kyler Murray, you need to really improve the interior of the offensive line so there's not people sitting in his face. So you want to go receiver.
You think Jonathan Gannon's going to call Kyler Murray and say, hey, man, we got Zabel for you. You think Kyler Murray would be like, man, get the hell out of here. Let me finish my Call of Duty game. Or we got Golden for you. Hell yeah, let's go.
Look, it's right? A sexier position. It's definitely a sexier pick there. All right, I'll let you go. I'll let you go because I know Gray's not making it past 18. I know he's not making it past 18. So we're going to go Matthew Golden, the best receiver in the class, goes 18 to the Arizona Cardinals, and they're looking scary. They just signed Trey McBride to a big deal. Greg Dortch just got re-signed. They tendered him $3 million 1 year. All right, let's speed this thing up a little bit. We're going Bengals, and I know the name, and I'm just going to put it in there, and I don't think you can argue it. I'm going Mykel Williams, Georgia. They lose Sam Hubbard, Trey Hendrickson. They don't know what's happening with him. Mykel Williams has like 50-inch arms. He just is going to push people back. A little banged up. He goes to Cincinnati, and he solidifies that strong side defensive end position for the next decade.
I would have gone the Marshall Mike Green.
Well, there's going to be some other opportunities. All right, Seattle Seahawks, 18. There's no one better than Gray Zabel here, right? There's no one better than Gray Zabel. Let me get my guy.
Yeah, they could use an offensive guard. I mean, that's going to thrill Mike McDonald and the staff. They're going to be so happy to get.
He can play tackle too if you need him to.
They need an offensive guard. I got it.
I mean, who else are you taking?
Corner. I take a corner.
Hey, and Will Johnson's still sitting there. They have Reek Woolen. They got Witherspoon, who they took 5th overall. You're telling me you're going to put another first-round pick out there? No way. There's just no way.
Josh Jobe. Can we beat out Josh Jobe or not?
For a backup? Give me a starting offensive lineman.
All right, fine. Take him. I'd just rather have a corner there, but that's all right.
Gray Zabel, welcome home. Come here. Give me a hug, Gray.
Good. This is the last time I get to hear Greg Zabel's name.
Gray Zabel.
He played all 5 positions at North Dakota Tech. Who gives a damn? He better be able to play all 5 at the same time at that school.
Hey, respect. Respect, all right?
I respect him. I'm just playing.
Gray, we love you, man. Welcome to Seattle. You're the perfect fit. You're not going to say anything, and you're just going to go out there and do your job. Now we're moving on to the Tampa Bay Bucks. I think they're going defense. They need an edge rusher. They got big old Vita Vea in there. They got Yaya Diaby. They got Hassan Reddick.
They're going safety. This is my pick.
Yep, I know who you're going to pick.
How do you pronounce the kid's name from South Carolina?
Amin Wari.
Just want to make sure you get it right before we say his name. Or Malachi Starks. That's who I think.
Malachi Starks, too.
I think they'll go one of those 2 players, yeah. Imaworo or Malachi Starks.
Which one do you want? I mean, your boy Mike Green's sitting there. That's all I'm saying.
Mike Green is just sitting there.
What's he have? 70 sacks last year?
They got Hassan Reddick. They just signed Hassan Reddick. They're very similar. Mike Green's, you need 2 of them. I think I can go safety here. I want a versatile safety. They can play in a box. They can cover. I think they're surprised. We're going to go with Umanwara. How do you say it again?
Eamon Wari. It's an I at the end there.
Eamon Wari. We're going South Carolina. Now, this guy is all over the place. He can cover. Now, Todd Bowles likes to play this cover 3 where you carry vertical seams. This guy is a good lockdown cover guy. He can cover tight ends down the seams and in the flat and on the corner routes. He's going to be perfect. He can play in a box. He's physical. He's had a couple pick 6s in his day at South Carolina. I think you'll love this guy. Tough between Malachi Starks and this kid. I might have taken Malachi Starks because his name is easier to pronounce, but I'm taking Eamon Wari instead from South Carolina.
This guy runs a sub 4.4. He's 6'3", 220 pounds, coming downfield like a heat-seeking missile. He's a guy that I feel like you plug him in there and you sleep well at night. I'm never going to use, trust me, people get mad at me. I say generational. He's not generational. I'm not putting that out there.
He's got generational measurables though, Justin, right?
Thank you.
I think if Todd Bowles sees this guy with this type of versatility at safety, the quarters that he plays, the man-to-man, the fire zones. Todd Bowles likes to get after quarterbacks with blitzes. If you do that, your safety has to come down and cover, and this guy can do that.
We're moving on to the 20th pick in the draft. It's the Denver Broncos. Sean Payton, you're on the clock. You got needs at running back.
All right, no, I'm taking.
I would say tight end, but they just went out and got Evan Ingram, who had a really, really good year last year.
I'm telling you who they're taking. They're going to take Luther Bird to 3rd. They have Cortland Sutton, who's a big guy. Veely is a decent receiver in the slot, but they need a guy that can come out of the slot and make some plays. And I think this guy, with his ability to run after the catch and do all the option routes, what he did at Missouri in 2023 and 2024 fits the Sean Payton's liking with the lining up, getting them lined up on a nickel, maybe on the weak side linebacker in zone coverage. I think this guy is a good fit for Denver. Now, they have other options. They can go, right?
Hey, if you love someone, you take them, right? You let them know.
A lot of people think that if one of the tight ends drop, they'll fall here, but they just signed Evan Ingram from Jacksonville, so I don't think
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so I don't think they're going to take a tight end here, but I think they need another piece. Might be running back, one of the running backs, that's the other one. I think it's either going to be Luther Burden, a type of guy like that, or a running back here. And I think Henderson from Ohio State, to me, fits the bill more so than Hampton for what Sean Payton likes to do with the backs. So, to me, it's either Henderson or Burden. I can't decide, but I'm going to go Burden and maybe hope to get Henderson in a second.
I think if you're Denver Broncos, you can make a play in the second round to trade up and get your running back of choice. All right, before we keep going, I just want to let everyone know that Underdog is the best place to make your picks during playoff basketball. With Underdog's newest NBA playoff promo, The Extender, you can play your way to increasingly bigger boosts each round of the playoffs. Start a playoff series by using your Game 1 boost, and then continue boosting each subsequent game to unlock the next one. The longer the series, the bigger the boost. If those series go to 7, you can secure a huge win if your pick hits. Underdog is the best place to make picks during playoff basketball. So what are you waiting for? Head to Underdog app and use the promo code POCKET during the NBA playoffs. Jay, who do you got winning the NBA playoffs? Quick.
Oklahoma City Thunder.
Oh, I like them. That's a good pick.
Best team basketball playing, offense, defense.
No, I like Minnesota. I like Anthony Edwards. He's got that dog in him. I'm going Minnesota. Just a crazy pick. All right, let's get back to work. This is a big one now. This is the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're at 21st. They need a quarterback. They need a running back. They've been doing a lot of work on these running backs.
That's it. It stops there. You don't even have to keep going. It's either quarterback or running back. It's got to be quarterback. It's got to be Shador. And if they don't like the quarterback, let's say they sign Aaron Rodgers 2 days before the draft or whatever. Then they're going running back. They'll take their pick of the litter at running back, right?
Amari Hampton's a great fit there, right?
Amari Hampton's perfect for him. Yeah, he'd be a perfect fit for him. They lost Najee Harris, but Jalen Warren's a hell of a back, but he's not an every down back.
Him and Amari Hampton are that 1-2 punch.
Perfect, yeah.
They're going to sign Rodgers.
They got to.
So it's Amari Hampton at 21.
So Amari Hampton, and I think Shador just falls down a little bit more, and it's okay. It's okay, everybody, because a lot of these quarterbacks that are drafted late first, early second, third round have been very productive and are very good players. I mean, there's a lot of them, Justin, right? Lamar's what, 29th or 30th pick in a draft? 31st?
32nd.
32nd. So everybody relax.
All right, so Amari Hampton goes 21 to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Shador is still sitting out there on the board. The LA Chargers are up. The LA Chargers have a couple needs. They got tight end. They got D-line. They let Bosa walk. Jim Harbaugh, what are you doing, Jim?
They got to go receiver.
Really?
Ladd McConkey, really?
I know, but they re-signed Mike Williams.
Mike Williams is not any good anymore. Sorry, everybody. He's not good enough to be a true number one.
You got some receivers. You got Najee. You got Justin Herbert. Hey, Justin, we're paying you $40 million, $50 million a year. Go make a play. I need some D linemen. You can't let me not get a D lineman here.
So if I'm Justin Herbert, right, and I'm sitting here in the offseason, I just got my ass kicked in the playoffs. I threw 4 picks, and everybody's thinking I'm not worth a damn. I said, okay, give me some help. You got me. Tyler Conklin, Mike Williams, and Najee Harris, and Mekhi Becton. All right, that's the help you got me?
Yes. I'm telling you, Justin Herbert, we're paying you all this damn money. We need to get you some guys on defense to give you a shot, to give you the ball so you don't have to air it out and throw 4 picks.
If you take Mike Green into this pick, I'm Justin Herbert right now. Harbaugh. If you take him at this pick, you better get me a receiver in the second round. Guaranteed. In fact, you might have to trade up and get one.
But that's what I'm telling you. That's where, you have Tet McMillan, Jaden Higgins, Emeka Ibuka, Trey Harris, Luther Burden you took. But there's some guys, the TCU receivers that look pretty good. Isaiah Bond's sitting out there. So there's no more edge guys late in this draft. There's no second round edge guys. They're all going to be gone here in a couple minutes.
All right. You're right. Let's go.
Mike Green, welcome to LA. From Marshall to LA.
This is where I think the Washington Commanders might get in a little cold feet because they got to get a pass rusher. As Mike Green goes, now they're looking, oh my God, we got Izaraku, we got Pierce, we got a couple other guys still on the board, but we might have to trade up to get one. I think we'll wait for one more to go, then we'll have to make a move.
All right, well, the next pick is the Green Bay Packers.
Oh, damn it.
There goes the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers. They drafted that dude that looks like he was built in a lab, Lucas Van Ness, a couple years ago. They got Kenny Clark. They got Devontae Wyatt, who I thought's a pretty good player. Rashawn Gary. I don't know. Do they go edge rusher here? Do they go alpha receiver 1? I'm tempted to go alpha receiver 1.
I like the receiver room. I know that Josh Jacobs came out and said they want an alpha receiver 1, but I'm not too sure that one of these guys are going to be better than the guys that they have in the house right now. And I think they have to address some other issues in Green Bay.
Will Johnson's sitting here. Tet McMillan's sitting here. You're going to tell me there's someone else who'll take over one of those 2 guys if you're the Green Bay Packers?
I'm just trying to decide if I want to go corner Will Johnson or if I want to go another pass rusher because Rashawn Gary has been disappointing to me.
No, he has not. I
need another juice player. I need some more juice.
Lucas Van Ness, if anything, he's been the one that's been a bit disappointing. Rashawn Gary has not been disappointing. We'll edit that one out for you.
He has been disappointing. Look at his sack numbers.
He had 7.5 sacks last year.
7.5 sacks. That's not disappointing.
That is a bit disappointing.
Golly.
That is a bit disappointing.
At least get double digits. His effort is a lot better than it was in college in the NFL, which is surprising me. Usually in college, if you have terrible effort, it doesn't translate to the NFL. But his effort has gotten better with the Green Bay Packers. His production has just been kind of mediocre to me. That's why I think we got to go pass rusher here or corner. It's one or the other. We're not going receiver. So sorry, okay. Matt LaFleur. I know you like to put points on the board, so you, Kyle, and all the rest of your Shanahan tree can high five at the combine and say, hey, look, we had the number 4 offense in the league. Yeah, we gave up 70 points a game, but let's get better on defense. Who are we taking?
Give me a defensive back. Will Johnson is still on the board. He's better than James Pierce or Shamar Stewart, right?
Yeah, let's go Will Johnson. My man Alexander from Louisville, he's just missed too much time. Got to get him back on the field and pair them together. We got ourselves a hell of a nice combination. Both of them have great ball skills, number one. And number two, we could play man or zone. That'll help out playing against the Minnesota Vikings with Justin Jefferson. And I mean, all those cats. Yeah. And Detroit, the Monroe St. Brown and Jameson Williams. Yeah. We got to get another corner. Let's go.
We got the Minnesota Vikings on the clock. Let's go back to the Minnesota Vikings.
Minnesota just traded down. I mean, Houston just traded up.
Bottom line, I think the Vikings are going to make a trade.
Yeah.
They have to. They need some picks. They got a talented team. They got J.J. McCarthy, which is the biggest question mark. They got Aaron Jones, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. I like the offensive line. They brought in Ryan Kelly from the Colts. They paid Will Fries. They got Jonathan Allen in there now, Javon Hargrave. I love the Minnesota Vikings, what they're doing right now. They did trade some picks. They are short on picks. I think they only have 4 picks in this NFL draft. Who needs an edge rusher? And they're starting to see him come off the board, and it's going to make you happy. The same argument you just made about the Green Bay Packers, the Buffalo Bills.
Well, Buffalo Bills, but also you mentioned who needs a left tackle. There's also a very good left tackle out there on the board as people think is a top 10 pick.
But we're on Minnesota, and Minnesota doesn't need
I know that.
a left
so
tackle.
If they trade down, somebody else might want to trade up and get that tackle. Who might that be?
Texans.
Oh,
well, okay, so the Chiefs would be the one team that would maybe move up to get a left tackle. The Ravens don't need a left tackle. Rams don't need a left tackle. Commanders don't need a left tackle.
Last time the Chiefs traded up, they took Patrick Mahomes, I think, didn't they?
I'm either saying it's Bills trading up for a D lineman or it's the Chiefs trading up for an offensive lineman. Wow.
Bills got to jump up there. They got to get some. They got to get some defense. They're tired of losing 38-37 in every goddamn AFC Championship game and playoff game.
The Vikings and the Bills are going to swap. So the Buffalo Bills pick 24. The Minnesota Vikings move back to 30. And then the Minnesota Vikings are also going to get a 3rd and a 4th rounder or 2 4th rounders from Minnesota. You guys decide on the comp. It's going to be 2 4th rounders is going out there is what I saw somewhere. To move up 4 spots, or how many spots they move up? 6 spots and draft a defensive lineman. Which guy are you going with? You got James Pierce. You got Shamar Stewart. You got Donovan
Stewart.
Okay, done.
Taking an active guy. He's played a lot of football. He plays good against the run. He's got great upside. I know his production from the sack is not there, but I think the ability to run people down and make plays, just be a disruptive force, I think with the great upside is a no-brainer.
And he gets to learn from, Sean McDermott, one of the better defensive minds out there. And on that defense, you got Greg Rousseau, who they just re-signed. You got Joey Bosa. You can learn from him. So I think there are a lot of positives to bringing this guy in. So I'm with you. Shamar Stewart, they trade up for him. They get the pass rusher of their dreams, Shamar Stewart. Houston Texans, I already mentioned it. They're going Kelvin Banks. They're running up to draft Kelvin Banks. He is their left tackle. Thanks for coming. You moved from Austin to Houston, not very far. You're a little pissed you fell, Kelvin. I thought maybe maybe Miami. But Josh Simmons, you just got to turn on Josh Simmons' film. If Josh Simmons is here, the Houston Texans are going to end up with who I think might end up being the best offensive lineman out of this class.
Either way, they're going to get Simmons or Banks there, in your opinion. That's still a good pick for Houston.
All right, we got to continue to move here. The LA Rams. I really thought maybe defensive back might be in play here. Jahad Campbell's gone.
Yeah, I'm going corner. There's no doubt about it. I'm going, we got to go corner. I'm going Harrison from Kentucky. That'd be my pick for the Rams. Man, zone.
I can't sell you on Benjamin Morrison.
Yeah, I like him a lot too. You could either want
injured. He's injured.
I'm taking a healthier guy that can run.
Yep.
And I'm taking Harrison from Kentucky. He's been pretty productive too in the SEC. Play a lot of good football. The only other one I could maybe see is if Loveland snuck down here, maybe they take a tight end. Cornerback is really the only place they can go. Other than, let me throw this one at you.
All right, hold on.
This might be the pick. What are you saying? Hold on now for?
To the people at home waiting for you.
Jalen Milroe could be the pick here. Matthew Stafford has another year or two left. Let's develop Jalen Milroe. Let's take a flyer, man. This is the time. You have a pretty good young defensive football team. You got some young players on offense and offensive line. You're where you need to be. Why not take a shot? It could be Shedeur Sanders here as well.
You yelled at me for taking Mike Green and getting Herbert a pass rusher. What is Matthew Stafford going to say? He just re-signed to come back and win a Super Bowl.
I was going to take a corner instead, Justin.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
But I'm saying this, I think, could be a typical Sean McVay move. You know, Stafford, I mean, they have Jimmy G as the backup. So why not learn from those two guys? Have this guy runs what the hell did he run his 40 in? This guy's explosive as hell. Or Stegan Harrison. But I think Milroe would be an interesting pick right here.
This is where people are going to start receiving calls of like, hey, Shedeur's still on the board. Can we trade up and go get that guy? Can we go get Milroe? The Baltimore Ravens aren't going quarterback. They have the 27th pick. We don't got to stress about that. They're looking at the offensive line. They're looking at DB. They're looking at safety. Malachi Stark's still there. They're looking at edge. They got Kyle Van Noy. They need edge. They need edge. They need James Pierce from Tennessee.
Yeah, I had to take an edge for sure, or safety, one or the other. Another versatile safety. Go with Kyle Hamilton because they lost Stone, to Cincinnati a little while ago. But
it's got to be James Pierce.
This is where Washington's starting to get a little giddy right now. They're like, oh my God, another edge guy just left. I'm going to throw up in my mouth. So yeah, they're getting a little nervous.
Would you see Washington moving up just a few picks? I mean, they're sitting there. I mean, because
I think
Detroit
they have to start that. Although they're still, they still got a couple good edge guys left, and I think they're just starting to run. There's an interesting one from Boston College, and obviously
because he's going next. Just so you know, he's gone next.
Who's got the next pick?
Detroit Lions. Do you want to go to try to say his name? I mean, like, look, is there anyone else they would take? Maybe they go interior D lineman. You still have, what's the big boy's name? You got Kenneth Grant from Michigan. Maybe Detroit goes big boy from Michigan.
Izaraku had a lot of production at Boston College, right?
He's got a plan, too. He's got an array of moves. You can tell he's been coached by a good D-line coach. I don't know who it is.
And he's really pissed off that you took James Pierce ahead of him. I mean, he's like, what in the hell? Are you kidding me? Shamar Stewart ahead of me? I mean, look at my numbers. He's going there, and it's an exciting pick.
Okay, so they add a tandem of Aiden Hutchinson and Donovan Ezeraku.
These edge rushers, I think you could almost shuffle up like 7 or 8 of them, put their name in a hat and pick one up and say, okay, I'm glad I got this guy. I think they're all very similar. You just got to have a plan for how you're going to use them and what you want them to do as far as when it's first and second down. Who's the best versus not the best rusher on 3rd and 9. You got to get to 3rd and 9 first, Justin. You got to stop the run. So which one of these guys could do a little bit of both the most effective way?
The Washington Commanders are on the clock. They stay put. They thought one of those edge rushers was going to fall to them. They did lose Jonathan Allen. Do you want to go get, they used some draft capital last year on the defensive line. They need some edge help.
Yeah, they lost Jeremy Chin, but they can't. I mean, they could go safety here. They got to get an edge guy, right? Because if they don't get an edge guy now.
Who?
Nick Scourton, right, from A&M.
Yeah,
and you got my guy. I think this is going to be a little bit of a flyer. I think they're going to trade up once some of these guys go.
We can't go back.
I'm taking a kid from Ohio State then, JT Tuimoloau. I really think this guy can play. All right. I know it's a long shot. I'll probably get hammered for it.
You're going to get crushed on that one. I'm going to give you one last chance to switch that one out.
Who else are we going to take?
I'm just saying Malachi Starks is sitting there. It's the best player available. You got to go with him. I'm sorry. You got to go with him. You're not going to draft Kenneth Grant.
You go Ted McMillan there. They could use another wideout.
We've done this in back-to-back. We both aren't really high on Ted McMillan. He's got out of the first round on both of our mock drafts so far. Can we go back for a second? Can we propose a trade? Say Washington doesn't love anybody. Shedeur is sitting there. The Browns and the Giants are both trying, like they're freaking out right now. As much as the Commanders were freaking out about to move up. Could there be a trade package where someone takes that pick from the Commanders and takes their quarterback? Would you trade back if you're the Commanders and get one of those? Because JT's going to be there at 33 or 34.
Yeah, for sure. If JT's a guy, yeah, for sure.
So let's do that. Let's take the Commanders out of the first round. They don't have their guy. They couldn't trade up for it. Instead of the Browns going to 32, the Browns are going to go to 29. They're getting antsy. For the Browns, it's saying they would trade 29 for 33 and 179. I like that. Let's do that.
All right.
They go to the Browns, and the Browns take Shedeur. We don't love JTT here. We think they can move back slightly. Let's do a trade. A Commanders trade, not trading up to get their pass rusher. They're going to trade back to get their pass rusher. And we talked about this earlier in the show. The Cleveland Browns, what are you doing at quarterback? They're sitting there with the 34th pick in the draft. They're saying, hey, we need our quarterback. Shador's still here. They move up to 29. They give up the 33rd pick in the draft and 179 to go to pick 29. To move up 4 slots, they give up a couple picks, and they get the quarterback of the future.
Jalen
The
Milroe.
Cleveland Browns. Oh, hold on. So it's not Shador.
We'll go Shador. However,
Shador Sanders.
Milroe would be kind of fun with Travis Hunter on offense. That'd be some speed, Jerry Jeudy. And
Well, no, this is the perfect trade. Shador and Travis Hunter end up together forever.
yeah, there you have it. Shador
Cleveland.
Sanders, Travis Hunter, match made in heaven on the NFL field. Who, I mean, deserves it more than the Cleveland Browns to have those two reunited.
Cleveland's getting a new stadium. They get the generational Travis Hunter, and they get their quarterback in Shador Sanders.
Shador will make his transition to receiver easier because I'm sure they have, unwritten like hand signals and communication to help Travis get through the offensive plays. Hey, what do I got on this? Hey, you got whatever they called a hitch in Colorado.
I think the Giants probably are just like, hey, we'll take whoever falls to us at this point. So the Giants aren't trying to trade up. I think the Browns going to get Shador. This makes too much sense. It's the Browns trading into the back of the first to get Shador Sanders. And now we move on to the Minnesota Vikings. We're going to speed us up a little bit here. Minnesota Vikings, defensive back, maybe some offensive line. Malachi Starks is still sitting there at safety with Harrison Smith.
I think we go Malachi here.
Malachi Starks, boom, 30.
Malachi is a no-brainer for me. He's a versatile guy. Brian Flores, he's an outstanding defensive coach, does a lot of different things, but have a guy that can play a lot of different spots, carrying verticals, like I mentioned before, playing the halves, playing the middle of the field, coming down in the box. He's smart as hell, too. You got to love smart safeties nowadays, and he's got a really smart defense, and that helps because Brian Flores is a very sophisticated coach that likes to do a lot of different things.
Now we're moving on. The Kansas City Chiefs, they lose the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes got hit a few times. They need some D-line help. They need some offensive line help. Give me your breakdown on the Chiefs. They're not used to picking at 31.
Give me your breakdown on the left tackle. They signed Jalen Moore. I don't even know if this guy's any good.
Makes me very nervous.
Because if he's not, they paid him though, right? So I don't see them trading up to get a tackle if they already paid him. What's Rashee Rice's situation? Is he going to play again? Is he hurt? I mean, if McMillan's sitting there to get a big receiver like that for Patrick Mahomes, it'd be a no-brainer to me. But they lost a lot of key players on defense, on the defensive line. And maybe they go get the run stopper, Kenneth Grant from Michigan here because they lost Wharton, who that could be a nice natural transition for them.
More edge rush help. I don't know if you want to take another D lineman there.
They lost Justin Reed. They lost their starting safety.
You got Elijah Mitchell, who was a really good running back for San Francisco. He's always buried on the depth chart. I like Tet McMillan here. I like the 6'4" red zone threat. Kelsey's getting a little bit up there as well. I like Tet McMillan. I like it.
They lost Justin Watson. So, yeah, I think this is easy for the Chiefs right here. Everybody's going to say, got to draft a tackle. Well, they signed a tackle. So let's draft a wide receiver. Oh, hold on a minute. I got to go back to Kansas City. I forgot about a key position, too.
All right, hold on. Put it in reverse.
I got to talk about these running backs.
I know you were going there.
Kareem Hunt and Pacheco. I mean, if Henderson's sitting there, an explosive back like that for Andy Reid's offense, let's go Henderson here. I want to go Henderson here.
Henderson. All right, we're switching it up. Tet, I swear we tried to get you in the first round, pal. We tried. We gave it our best.
I'm going Henderson here. It's too good to be true. This guy is explosive as hell. I mean, what running backs are asked to do now? He can still play with Pacheco. That's fine. But it's time for Hunt to go ahead and take a seat and play with these two guys' explosiveness. They like the short passing game. They like the bubble screens, the flat routes, and the little inside zones. And this guy can take a 2-yarder, take it to the housel.
Can I actually propose another trade for this next one? All right, so this is where they just signed Cam Jurgens, their center. They got him locked up. They got the highest paid offensive line in football. They're not going there. I'm looking at the offense. I'm like, maybe receiver 3. I mean, that was where if Luther Burden was here, would he be a guy you might be interested in?
For sure.
A lot of A.J. Brown trade talk. I'm looking at defensive tackle. They lost Milton Williams. This is where I'm going to do a double whammy. A double whammy. We're trading Dallas Goedert right now. There've been a lot of talks about trading for this guy or trading him. I'm going, they're going to trade Goedert. I don't know if it's going to be day 1 or day 2, but the writing's going to be on the wall when they step up there and they draft Mason Taylor from LSU, 6'5", 250 pounds, has the pedigree, had 1,000 yards at LSU. Eagles get their tight end of the future, and they're going to move on from Goedert. He's going to go for a 3rd or 4th round pick to, who do we say needed a tight end earlier? The LA Chargers. The LA Chargers are going to trade for Dallas Goedert. They're going to get Goddard. And the Philadelphia Eagles take Mason Taylor. Is that crazy? Can I end on that note?
That's a good one. I like it. Makes a lot of sense.
Don't let Walter Nolan get here. That's all I'm asking. Don't let the Eagles D-line. The rich can't get richer. And that's a mock draft. Jay, what do you think? What do you grade us on this mock draft? People are going to be nice to us?
Well, you made a couple, took a couple risks, especially with your boy Mason Graham. I don't know if he's going to fall that low, but it's hard because once somebody falls like that, the teams aren't expected. It's like, well, he's still on the board, but we don't really need him. We got to take this guy. You know what I mean? So it could happen. Probably not going to happen, but there's a lot of issues in this draft there, Justin. It's going to be interesting. There's a lot of players to me, other than the top three, right? Cam Ward, Abdul Carter, and Travis Hunter, that you can make arguments about where they should go, what position, who's the best player, who's the most productive, who's got the biggest upside. I think that's what it's going to come down to. Teams are going to fall in love with certain guys that may not have the production that have the upside. Other teams are going to fall in love with the production who may not have the upside. So it's going to be interesting. I can't wait to watch it.
This is a good mock draft, in my opinion. I think this is the best mock draft in the market. If you guys like what you heard from this one, make sure you're liking, you're subscribing, you're commenting. Did we leave Ted McMillan out again? Did we do it? Are they going to kill us for it? Give us a grade on this mock draft, how you think we did, and then we'll check back. We'll check back and see how we did in 4 days from now. Make sure you guys are locked in for all the draft coverage.
Spice up your sports viewing experience with the Underdog app. Underdog is the best place to play. Pick 'em on all of your favorite sports. Just choose higher or lower on your favorite players' stats, and you can join the millions of fans who have won billions of dollars on Underdog. What are you waiting for? Sign up now using promo code POCKET. That's POCKET, and you can get up to $1,000 in bonus credits. Download the Underdog app or visit UnderdogFantasy.com to get started today.